For several decades now, there's been increasing discomfort with traditional economic orthodoxy. We know that people don't always behave in the perfectly rational ways that economic theory says. We know that institutions aren't always as optimal as theory would like us to believe. And there have been various mysteries that economics can't explain about how economic growth works and how the financial system works and so on. So there's a growing feeling that, that there's a need for new economic thinking.
The whole economy is now very, very short term. You wait for the quarterly reports, the whole financial sector is geared at short-term profits. And the long-term problems, the long-term issues, the long-term risks, we don't have a way of factoring them in. And in the political system, we have failed so far to put the price on carbon. We have failed so far to internalize the external costs. So everything we buy in the market, the price is lower than the real costs of production.
If we're going to make globalization work, one of the changes we need to make is the way we think about what the economy is, how it functions, what's part of it and how it interacts. I'm passionate that we rewrite the economic frameworks we have. If the economist Adam Smith were alive today, he'd rewrite his book. People here at Tallberg and beyond can start rewriting that book to give us an economy for the globalization we need.
You know, I find the response of economists, especially professors at universities, really weird, because imagine if physicists were like that in post-Newtonian times, when you looked at relativity, they would say, oh, this is not physics, this is relativity. And then if they looked at big things, they'd say, oh, well, these are externalities. This is too big. We can't think about things at the cosmological scale. But of course, we call that astrophysics. And we said, oh, well, you know, this is too tiny. It's atomic, so it's externality. We don't look at that. We're only Newtonian physics, you know, simple linear mechanics. Physics is based on experiment. And if you find in an experiment that it negates theory, the answer is not ignore the experiment. The answer is change the theory. And we have enough experiment in economics, social science, to demonstrate that our theory, the neoclassical theory, is just inadequate. It's wrong. And yet we don't discard it. We must. We must behave like scientists. And not only that, I think we have to go away from the neoclassical economic dogma that, you know, the individual is basically self-interested and has full knowledge of what's happening, because frankly, that doesn't describe anybody. So we have to get to the reality of markets, respect what is being done in behavioral sciences and integrate that into economics, respect what's been done in environmental economics and ecological economics and integrate that into today's economics, and be a bit more like a science. I mean, we must recognize reality, we must respect the boundaries that are being explored, integrate them, and create a new economics, which is holistic, which is mature, and which externalizes nothing.